the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com, check out the website, check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on, make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines Radio is all about being right. No, seriously, it is. If you ever listen to Russ Gallo or me go back and forth on some issue, we always want to make sure that we remember who said what and when we said it. That's why we go to goonrecord.com. It's a brand new social media website. Challenge people on what they believe, whether it's in politics, sports, entertainment, finance, whatever. There's a category for you at goonrecord.com. Check it out right now. Tell us, what do you stand for? It's time for you to go on record. Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Behind Enemy Lines. Gene Berardelli, back behind Enemy Lines. I want to take this time to thank everybody for listening to Behind Enemy Lines Radio. Check us out at www.behindenemylinesradio.us. Check us out on the Facebooks and the Twitters at BEL_radio. And while I got you listening to the show, however it may be, through the radio, through the computer, on your phone, I want to make sure that you guys know about all the ways you can listen to Behind Enemy Lines Radio, including all of our rebroadcast outlets, including Talk 107.5 FM, WJHC, Jasper, Florida, Talk 92.1 FM, WDDQ, Adele, Georgia, News Talk 1330 WLBB, Carrollton, Georgia, all part of the Talk America Radio Network, powered by ICRN, the Internet's conservative radio network. I want to also give a big shout out to our newest affiliate, Mojo 50. It's a labor of love of our good friend and compatriot of the conservative cartel and Talk America Radio, Ron Phillips. We wish him the best of luck with this project. Whole lot of big heavyweights on that network. Mojo 50, check them out as soon as possible. You can also check us out at KLRN Radio, Lone Star Talk Radio, and Sackheads Media. And of course, Lanterns Radio. Always check out lanterns.buzz and Eye to Eye Talk Radio. But if you miss any of the rebroadcasts, that's cool. It's okay. We got you covered. You can also check us out on demand as a podcast. We're available on Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbay, Player FM, SoundCloud. You can discover us on Google Play Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Auto Radio, iTunes, and of course, the mighty iHeart Radio Network. This week, Behind Enemy Lines, for those of you who don't know, we have a Newsmax column. We're Newsmax insiders. We're kind of a big deal. People know us. We have many leather-bound books in our shelves and whatnot. We tackled this week a story about money in politics. And we weren't really talking about it as a bad thing, but we were talking about the left's hypocrisy of it. Because this election cycle, we are seeing more and more well-heeled Democrat donors ponying up big dough to the Democrat Party in various races. Some are in swing states, some are in gubernatorial races, some are in, Republican-leaning districts where they think they can steal a seat or two. But there's a lot of money floating around out there on the Democratic side, folks. Now, why do we bring this up? Are we against money in politics? Hell no. Frankly, I think there should be more money in politics. I think that money is indeed speech, as the court has said in Citizens United. So that's not the reason why we bring it up. We bring it up because, as we like to do on this show, we must always and forever point out the hypocrisy of the left. Remember all the chants we were talking about with Judge Kavanaugh, now Justice Kavanaugh, and all of the protests and the machinations and the angry mobs. Don't get me started, Brooke Baldwin. Mob is a thing, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well, probably in the next segment. But the thing about the left is they are the most hypocritical people of all. By bashing old white male millionaires and billionaires in the same vein as Bernie Sanders and all that other nonsense that has been out there, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes of the world who are saying, people who actually have made it in this world and have earned money are bad in some shape or form. On one side of their mouth, progressives of the left are saying that, the toxic left is saying that, but then they're also holding their hand out to people like Tom Steyer, who donated millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, actually, when it comes down to it, by the time all is said and done. And they're holding their hand out to Mike Bloomberg and Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, and hedge fund people like Donald Sussman, who only has a paltry $500 million net worth compared to, others out there. There's so many donors that we don't know about that we haven't really discussed. But think of it this way. Tom Steyer and Mike Bloomberg, combined, two people, have given close to $200 million to different left-leaning PACs, candidates, and causes. That's a whole lot of dough from a bunch of old white people. Now, again, I don't begrudge these people to do what they want with their money. They can throw away their money on the Democrats for all I care. That doesn't really matter to me. What I care about is the hypocrisy of saying we are the David fighting all the Goliaths. The Koch brothers are devils incarnate. Citizens United has ruined political campaigning forever. And then at the same time, taking hundreds of millions of dollars from the top 1%. So I guess the top 1% is okay when it's their top 1%. When it's the left taking money from the left. It's absolutely a world gone mad this election cycle, folks. When you see things like that and you see hypocrisy, you got to call it out. That's what we do here behind enemy lines. For those of you who are maybe listening to us for the first time on outlets like Mojo 50 and places like that. This is a battle to the death is turning out. You'll see in the next segment when we talk about the loss of civility since Justice Kavanaugh and the whole ordeal that him and his family suffered. It's getting hairy out there, folks. And it seems like the left will abandon principle for a win. I don't think that conservatives are doing that, mainly because I think they see an opportunity to maintain who they are, what they do, what they believe in. But the left is changing. It's morphing in different ways. The toxic left is coming into play, trying to co-opt the party. But the mainstream Dems and their well-heeled donors, the Hillary Clinton Dems, if you want to call them that, the Clintonians, if you want to coin a phrase, they are pouring so much into this. They are shoving all in 2018 in the hopes that 2018 will lead to something good in 2020. And that something good would be the fall of Donald Trump. And the way things are going right now, I think you may be surprised with how ineffectual Democrats will be. If you would have asked me a couple months ago about a blue wave, I would have said, yes, absolutely, House, Senate, definitely much in trouble. Now it's not so much a wave as it is two waves clashing against each other. You have a red wave coming that's going to hold on to the Senate, but a blue wave coming in the House right now. But even that is not necessarily the case. We can do a deep dive into that later. But just about time for our next break here. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the head explosions going on the left. When they go low, kick them? Or, it will maintain civility when we get power back? We'll unpack all that and more when we're talking about the angry mob, Brooke Baldwin, and see exactly what's going on in the news this week. Gene Berardelli, Behind Enemy Lines. Thanks for listening. We'll be back right after these brief words. Hey folks, I just want to let you know about a great opportunity for listeners of Behind Enemy Lines Radio. If you go to our website, www.behindenemylinesradio.us, and click on the same box ad on the right side of the page, you will get a great opportunity for a discounted offer to join SaneBox. SaneBox filters out all the unimportant email from your inbox so that you can really focus on what matters. If you're anything like me, folks, you get hundreds of pieces of email a day, not many of which is important. SaneBox's smart filter will get everything you need to fly through your inbox and finally make email work for you. It gets rid of spam emails, it deprioritizes emails that aren't as important to you, and it helps you unsubscribe from mailing lists and individual senders with ease. So again, go to www.behindenemylinesradio.us and you click on the SaneBox ad and you'll be given an exclusive offer you won't find anywhere else. Behind Enemy Lines.
I'm voting in the midterm elections because
my constitutional right,
because my ancestors died,
to make it better for my children.
The women before me fought
so we can remain free.
Helping your community out.
Midterm election.
I know every vote makes a difference.
My opinion matters.
I vote.
I vote.
I vote in the midterm election.
Register now on IamAvoter.com. And don't forget to vote Tuesday, November 6th.
Brought to you by I Am a Voter and the Ad Council.
Behind Enemy Lines. Back on the air. Gene Berardelli, back behind enemy lines. Just a bit of a postscript for everyone out there to give you a rundown of the kind of money we were talking about last segment that billionaires are throwing to try to shift power to the left. As we talk about in our Newsmax column, Tom Steyer, $30 million to a campaign seeking to increase Democratic turnout in targeted races for Congress. Another $5 million at least to Florida gubernatorial candidate on the Dem side, I say the socialist side, but they say the Dem side, Andrew Gillum. $40 million invested for a push for Donald Trump's impeachment. Then you go to Bloomberg, and Bloomberg's even worse. We're talking about as much as $100 million to be spent on House races and another $40 million to go on to Senate races. It's a lot of money just from two people. And, you know, the hedge fund people we were talking about, Donald Sussman, James Simons, Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn, those are the people that are out there trying to skew the dynamics in politics. And speaking of skewing the dynamics in politics, let me give you a little case study happening right here in the People's Republic of New York. Actually, happening in my own district. I currently live on Long Island, one of the last few bastions of conservatism in the People's Republic of New York. Kind of like the final frontier. We've been pushed to the brink. We're at the edge of the cliff in 300, you know, that type of deal. And there is a gentleman running for Congress whose name is Perry Gershon. Why am I bringing him up? Because Mr. Gershon is not from these parts, though he does own property in the district. He is a carpetbagger. He is a well-heeled New Yorker from the city, like me, except I'm not so well-heeled, who changed his residence to his vacation home in the Hamptons. Yes, those Hamptons where all the one-percenters are. And he won a primary to go against Lee Zeldin, who is a lifelong resident of the area, actually went to the high school in the district where I currently reside. And he's being supported by an initiative. It's not even a PAC. I don't even know what to call it. It's an initiative to, quote, vote where it counts, to get people like Gershon from his Park Avenue abode, who may have a second home, a vacation home, you know, investment property in the area, change their residence to redder pastures or purple pastures, whatever you want to call it here in the People's Republic of New York, and to get the election results skewed in favor of Democrats. You see, Democrats are so concentrated in the city. They kind of overtake the state, which many counties upstate, mid-Hudson region, and, you know, further up the North Country and, you know, everywhere you can think of is pretty conservative. You know, you wouldn't tell from national results because the city skews all those results. So you have this concentration in the People's Republic of New York City of Democrats and liberals and crazy socialists and members of the toxic left that